Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today we're going to talk about my favorite blushes. Now, all of the blushes I compiled today are under $10. Let me be very clear. There is a difference between saying, like, these are my favorite drugstore blushes, and these are just my favorite blushes, and they happen to be affordable. I feel like sometimes, and I feel like I've been guilty of this in the past, of saying things like, oh, this blush is good for drugstore, or it's really good for the price. But honestly, these are blushes that are just good blushes. They are just good, and they're under $10, and most of them are at the drugstore. You know what I mean? I don't want it to ever come across that way, I guess is what I'm saying, because these are incredible. I'm wearing one of them today. I thought about taking blush off and repeatedly reapplying it to show them to you guys, and then I was like, Jessica, that's insane. A, my cheeks would be raw. B, most of these I've applied in a recent video. So what I'm gonna do is down below where I list all of the blushes I use, the prices, and a link for them, I will also list a video, if there is one, of me applying it so you can see it in action. All of them are powder except for two of them. I'll mention the cream and the stick one at the end. Some of them you might be able to guess. These are all amazing, amazing blushes that stay on all day. I feel like I'm gonna sound like a broken record in this video. Let's get into it. Let's start with the one I'm wearing today. This one is the Milani powder blush. It's their rose blushes, and the shade of this particular one that I love is Romantic Rose. This is what I'm wearing on my cheeks today, so I will show you me applying it right now. I just feel like this is the kind of a color that if you are anywhere near my skin tone, it's going to look gorgeous on you. It's like a natural flush. Like, to me, this is a very, honestly, most of the shades I love are very similar to this, where they're kind of muted and dusty and rosy, and they just end up looking very romantic. I feel like the name Romantic Rose is like really clouding my judgment right now, and I like can't shake it. But not only that, but of course the packaging is so gorgeous. This rose pattern will stay on for very, very long. Like, you've got to be really down in this pan before the rose pattern's completely gone, which I think is also really cool. They do have a few shades. These are super pigmented. You do need to use a lighter-ish hand. It's not crazy like sleek blushes are like crazy. It's not that crazy, but you definitely want to tap off your brush a little bit. I put blush on a little bit heavier today just to really show it. Also, I'm just like in a blushy mood. Like, I'm low-key really loving blush right now. I can't pretend that I didn't just drink that water and it dribbled all over my pants. What was going on? How did I screw that up? Another one was a more recent discovery for me, and it's from LA Girl, and this one's their Just Blushing Blush. Now, they actually have quite a few shades, I think like 8-ish shades on Ulta's website, and these are around $5. And the particular shade I love is Just Playful. It's very, very similar to this Milani shade. You can kind of see, like I said, I clearly have a certain taste in blush because of my skin tone and what I like and what I think looks good on me. But keep in mind, obviously, all of these lines have more than one shade. But this is one that actually had a pretty good shade range for blushes. My Bico Pinocchio is there, shaking. Pinocchio, what you doing? He got his nails clipped this morning and he was not happy about it. Anyway, so I really love this particular shade. I feel like LA Girl can kind of get, I don't want to say a bad rap, but I feel like for me, when I would hear the term LA Girl, even back like when I was in high school, I'd be like, oh. But when I recently tried a full face of LA Girl makeup that I bought on their website, I was astounded at how many good products. Not because it's a cheap brand, but because I'd kind of heard things, and you know what I mean? So I'll link that video below, but that's where I applied this blush, and this was one of the, if not the standout product from that video for me that I've used over and over again since doing that. So I really like it, and again, they have a good shade range. So the next one is from Essence. This one's like $2.99. On Ulta's website, they only had like 2 shades though, so I don't know like if you see it in stores, if they have more than that, but it's their Satin Touch Blush. I have the shade Satin Love. These are so inexpensive and so nice, you guys. Again, you're gonna laugh. If I swatch all of these next to each other, they're literally the same shade. I could just keep one of these and be fine, but it's so soft. It really is. Like, when you swatch it, you're gonna be like, oh, like that's really soft. I think this one's a little bit pinker than that Just Playful shade for the Just Blush and LA Girl one. But these are gorgeous. Again, this stays on all day. I've had no issues with this at all. And this one seems to go on very smoothly. Like, it never looks patchy for me. I love that. So I have 2 from E.L.F. I'm gonna mention kind of hand in hand. This is one that I've had forever, and this is one I've recently acquired I really like. So the one I've had for years, this is a new one I've bought recently, but I've had this shade. I keep rebuying it. It's their Studio Blush in the shade Mellow Mauve. Again, similar color. I just think their Studio Blushes are really nice. I feel like Again, they're pretty darn pigmented, but they're just pretty. It's a very seamless blush, and the fact that they've kept their price point for this particular blush at $3 is amazing. So highly recommend this. I also really like E.L.F's new primer blush. Again, this is one I tried in my recent What's New at E.L.F. like full face video. And the shade I have is Always Rosy. Again, very similar shade. I think it's maybe a little bit deeper than the other E.L.F. one I just showed, but this one's a little bit more expensive, and I don't necessarily think it's better than this. I think it's, no, I really don't. They seem like the exact same formula. So part of me is like, did you just take this blush and like press it into a different size pan and call it a primer infused blush? Listen, I get it. They're companies. It's not that big of a deal, but yeah, just something I'm just now noticing. They really are a similar formula. It's hard to tell. They're both really nice. If you found a shade in one line versus the other that you really liked more, maybe do it that way. Otherwise, I'd say save the money and get the $3 one if you're like placing an order on E.L.F's website or whatever. You know how it goes. You place an order and you're like, well, I only need to spend $5.97 more to get free shipping. So then you end up spending like $25.97 more. And you're like, how did this happen? And then you're looking at your cart and you're like, but there's nothing I can get rid of. I literally need everything. Okay, next up is from Flower Beauty. This is their Flower Pots Powder Blush. I have the shade Sweet Pea. They have a peachy one I used to own, but I didn't use it as much as this one. All of them are beautiful. Very similar look to the Milani ones when it comes to the pan. However, the Milani pan is much, much bigger. The Flower Pot one is 0.21 ounces, and this is 0.60. It's 3 times the amount. So there's something to keep in mind. If you like use one blush and you use it up, then I would say go for the Milani if you can find a shade you like, because you're getting 3 times the amount and they're right around the same price. So that's something to keep in mind. But I really do like this Flower Beauty blush, so I can't deny that I really like it. So the last two I'm gonna mention are not powder. Now you'll notice none of my blushes I mentioned are shimmery blushes. I am still struggling to find shimmery blushes that I genuinely love. I would much rather stick like a blush topper, kind of a highlight, or just highlight on top of it like I did today, than have the shimmer going throughout. Not that I don't really own products like that. I really just haven't found any that I love. So let me know if you have any recommendations for like shimmery blushes that aren't glittery that you would recommend, especially if they're affordable. So this one will come as no surprise if you've been watching me for a while. This is like maybe my favorite blush of all time. It's close now to this other one I'm about to show you, but it's the Flower Beauty Blush Balm, and this particular shade is Pinched. I've tried them all. They're all so beautiful, but it's literally a liquid blush. You squeeze it out. And what I usually do is I will kind of spread it out on my hand, typically, and then I'll grab like a sponge. I love this L'Oreal one, it's my favorite, and I'll tap it into it, and then I'll tap it onto the cheeks. And it gives the most natural, unbelievably gorgeous flush. Because it's a liquid and a cream, it's not accentuating like texture and peach fuzz and anything. You guys, if you've been scared of cream and liquid blushes, or you're just kind of intimidated and you're like, I don't really get it, start with this, and you'll honestly end with this, because it is so freaking gorgeous. I'm getting really low and I'm like, I'm gonna need to buy another, but I know that the shade Pinched is sold out all the time. I cannot stop recommending it. By the way, you guys like my shirt? It's it's from that Tayla's like campaign she's doing with Project Beauty Share, which I'm like, girl, yes. So wanting to represent, wanting to support, I freaking love her. Like, so if you don't know who that is, that's crazy to me. Go check out her channel, go subscribe. She's a much bigger channel than me, but she is a cool person. She's helping us give back. Like, I've donated Project Beauty Share, and basically this company has made it so easy to send in makeup. They will sanitize it for you before they give it to women's shelters. It is incredible. So go help out. I don't know if she's still accepting donations for this campaign where she's fundraising, but like I said, go check out her channel, go check out Project Beauty Share. Because they deserve the love and they are doing some amazing stuff. Okay, so lastly, this is a newer one to me too, but I like fell in love and I've used it so many days over the past month. It's crazy. So this is the L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick Blush. So I think they have like foundations and maybe like a bronze or a contour. The blush one is what I've fallen in love with. I have the shade Sexy Flush. And what I do is, I've talked about this a lot in recent videos. I'll tap it onto my cheeks, or I'll do the same thing I do with the flower. I'll do that and tap it on. I have realized in recent weeks, it's so much easier to tap it on. You can blend it with your finger, blend it with a sponge, blend it with a brush. It's so easy to blend in, and it's not one of those formulas that gets stuck in one place and you can't blend it. It is gorgeous. It stays, and that really surprised me. The Flower Beauty one really doesn't budge, but this one stays too. I wore this in Disney for the week we were there. It was the only blush I brought, and it was beautiful. Beginning of the day to the end of the day, it was amazing. But I will say this is the only one that like its retail price is like $12.99, but I saw that if you buy it at Target's website or like at Target, I think it was like $9. So that's why I'm counting it as under 10. It counts. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. I hope that you will subscribe if you do think these kinds of videos are helpful. I'd like to get back into this. I did this a lot in the past. I haven't done it in a while, so I want to get back into, you know, my top blushes, my top bronzers, those kinds of things, especially focusing on the best ones that are also more affordable, because especially with blush, you never, ever need to spend money on a high-end blush, period. I have realized after trying, I have probably tried 200 plus blushes, honestly, in my lifetime. And I have realized one very important thing. Drugstore blush, most drugstore blush is exactly as good as what you're getting high-end. It's insane what people will charge. Like the Buxom new priming blushes, those are beautiful blushes. They sent them to me. I think they're great, but they are truly no better than these, and they don't wear any longer than these do. So it's like, it's hard for me to ever recommend to you to spend a lot of money on blush when I know how freaking good. These are what I'm reaching for over those. So if that tells you anything, there you go. Any other makeup I'm wearing on my face, by the way, I will link below. I figure some of you guys will have questions about what's on my lips, what highlighter I'm wearing, what's on my... I did get back into Anastasia Dip Brow though, and I put that on my eyes. I used medium brown. Ooh, my dip brow is old. I was like scraping that. I was like, ooh, but I haven't used it in a very long time. It was fast. I forgot, like once you get used to that, it's really fast, and I just feel like it's easy, and that it sounds like a cream brow product wouldn't be, and it is. I'm like shocked. So anyway, I am on tangents. This is the only video I'm filming today, and usually I film 2 in a day, so I feel like I've got to get all my energy out into this one single video, so I need to like calm down. So I hope you enjoyed. As I said, la la la, I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.